Hello, Honors U.S. History students. Welcome to your first assignment, which is to watch this video, learn about the syllabus, answer some questions in the discussion board, then print off something, sign it, and turn it back into class. So let's jump right into it, shall we? I didn't really want to spend time in class going over the syllabus because you do that in all your classes. And I wanted to put it here so that you can always quickly go back and look at it if you like. So let's take a look at that syllabus, shall we? You, of course, are in Honors U.S. History, which means maybe a little bit more is going to be expected of you than perhaps if you were in college prep, but it's not quite going to be to an AP level. It's kind of in the middle. So what is Honors U.S. History? Well, first of all, what are we studying? We're studying American history, but our focus will be on a period of 1877 to present day. Mr. Ashcraft, I don't know what happened in 1877. That's okay, you're going to learn, but essentially the focus of our class will be the period after the Civil War until modern day. And we're going to start the class the first few weeks with kind of a review of everything that you learned or should have learned in 8th grade. So let's run through this really quickly. What do you need to bring to class with you each and every day? This textbook right here. Get used to it. You're going to read it a lot and you should become accustomed to bringing it to class. Along with your textbook, make sure you are bringing a class-specific notebook because you are going to be taking a lot of notes and you are going to be writing those down. Bring your Chromebook, your charged Chromebook, each and every day. These are just going to be expectations. Throughout the course of the year, you may need other things. You may need headphones, for example, because quite often, as I mentioned before, you will be watching videos, many of them created by me right here on this YouTube channel. So go ahead and smash that subscribe if you want to. It's not necessary. But from time to time, you will have videos you need to watch, particularly if I'm out of town or if I'm homesick, we have a remote learning day. So just understand having headphones would probably be a good idea to use only when you're instructed, as well as some other materials. Now, how do we get through the class? Here's where things get a little confusing if you don't pay attention. You're going to have two things that you need to be aware of: a course calendar, a reading guide, along with a unit guide. You can see pictures of these right here. If we click right down here, this is your calendar, your reading guide. It tells you on which days you need to have read what sections, chapter, or excuse me, unit and sections, 1.1, 1.3. When you come to class, this is what is to be read by the time you come to class. You will also see this is where we have all of our major assessments, tests, things of that nature listed right on here, along with other important dates. But here's where things get a little tricky. What exactly is 1.1, 1.2? Well, in order to learn that, you need to look at the unit guide. There'll be a unit guide for each and every unit, and they look kind of like this. Not only will these be posted in my room, they'll also be posted on Canvas. You'll see here that these are units and sections that have more or less been organized by Mr. Philippi and myself. So the important part is that what Mr. Philippi and I and myself, both of whom teach this class, what we call 1.1 may not correspond to whatever your textbook says is chapter 1, section 1. So you always need to look at your unit guide in order to see what the page numbers are. So you see here, 1.1 corresponds to pages 4 through 14, 1.2, pages 15 through 29. This is where you need to find out what pages correspond to what unit and sections you need to read. So again, you will have that semester-long reading schedule for the entire semester, and then you will have a unique unit guide that will tell you the specific page numbers for each unit, for each section, excuse me, and you're going to get those with each unit. On here, not only do you see what you need to read, you'll have a summary of what the unit's going to be all about. sometimes a silly joke or something. And then on the back, you'll see all these key terms. Now, I'm not going to require that you write down and define all these key terms, but we put them on the unit guide so that you understand that when a test comes around, you more or less should be able to define all of these key terms, even if there's not an assignment that goes along with it. So using those two things, the course calendar reading guide, along with the unit guide, will allow you to make sure that you're keeping track of what you need to keep track of in order to be a success in this class. As you see, we've got all of these units right here. Each one is about 10 to 30 years of history, depending on what's going on. The first ones are reviews, so they're a bit longer. And then over here, you'll notice we've got our grades. Approximately 1,000 points will be available throughout the course of a semester. And those, many of these are daily assignments, homework assignments, which are generally 10 to maybe 30 points a piece. Occasionally, you will have a project that's anywhere from 50 to perhaps as many as 200 tests with each unit. Small tests might be about 75 points, but they may be up to 150 or more. And quizzes might be announced or unannounced over your reading. Here's what I know that you care about, because this is the question I get asked more than anything else. Mr. Ashcraft, what about final exams? Here you go. During the first semester, your exam is worth 15% of your overall course grade, and there are no exemptions. Everyone will take the final exam for semester one. The second semester, you still will have an exam worth 15% of your semester grade. However, if you have a 95% or higher, you can be exempt from the final exam for semester two. Make sense? 95% gets you exempt for the second semester, but there are no exemptions for the first semester. A couple important things about other course policies. Let's look at late work. If you do not turn in a regular assignment, which means like a homework assignment, less than 25 points, if you're missing that assignment, it's 50% off. So if it's a 10-point assignment and you turn it in late, whether that is 2 minutes late or 1 day late, that's 50%. After a day of being late, I am under no obligation to take it, and it may just stay as 0. If it is a larger assignment, we're going to define a larger assignment as 25 points or more, then it is going to be 10% off for each day that it is late, up to 3 days. So here's my advice. Don't forget to turn your work in. Do turn your work in, right? If something isn't turned in and I go ahead and grade everything, I'm going to go ahead and put a 0 in for it. Generally because that gets your attention and you will quickly respond. Now let's talk about makeup work. Obviously, all of us miss class sometimes, and that's okay. So if you miss class, then you have the day that you miss plus 1 to get your work in. That's in line with the student handbook. So if you are not here on a Monday and you come in on Wednesday and you learn, oh, I missed this assignment, you will have until Friday, the next red day or blue day, whatever it is, in order to get that work in. And there's no penalty for makeup work if you miss class. So all these late assignments suggest that you were in class, you just didn't do it. Now, of course, if you've got this class first block and you're not here first block, but you come in second block, third block, fourth block, well, then you're at school. And it is your responsibility to find out what you missed. And by the way, most of our assignments are on Canvas anyway, so you'll be able to see that. So let's just stay on top of that. One thing that I do want to point out about makeup work, and that's tests. If you miss a test, it is your responsibility to make that test up, to schedule a time with me. I'm not going to come seek you out. You're a junior in high school. You care about your grades. And so if you miss a test, you need to come see me and say, Mr. Ashcraft, I need to make this up. And I'll say, great. And we'll come up with a time that you can do that. It might be before school. It might be after school. It might be during study hall. It's generally not going to be during my class period because we have other things we need to achieve. Now, if you don't honor that, If a week passes and you still have not made up that test, then we're going to start applying late penalties to those tests. Don't come to me in March and say, I know I missed a test in January. Can I make it up? And can I get, can I not have any sort of deduction? That's not going to happen. So if you miss a test, it is your responsibility to communicate with me. You and I will come up with a time that you can make that up in a way that works out well for everyone in accordance with how many days you missed. But if you are not making that up within that week period, then there can be a late penalty of 10%. Sound good? I think so. But I'm not worried about it because you're going to make everything up in a timely fashion. A few other things real quick. If you have to communicate with me, make sure that you are using your school email, your CA students email, and send that to me, tashcraft@caschools.us. That'll guarantee that I get it. Academic honesty and plagiarism, you can read it, you know what it's all about. Electronic devices, phones. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have a phone caddy and you're going to put your phone away in it. There's no need for you to have your phone in class unless in the very odd case that I ask you to have it. That means it needs to be silent. It needs to be in the caddy where it belongs. Getting a text message or a phone call from a friend, a parent, a coach is not an excuse to use your phone. Your phone will stay there. You'll put it there at the beginning of class. You'll get it when you leave. If you need to go to the restroom, there's no need to take your phone to the restroom. It stays in the caddy. Other electronic devices, such as personal laptops, you cannot have these things, or iPads. This is in accordance with school policy. So don't bring your other personal stuff. As I mentioned earlier, I may occasionally ask you to use headphones for this class, but that's the only time you use them, right? Chromebooks are going to be used when I want you to use them. A lot of times when we're doing assignments or we're taking notes, you're going to be doing that on paper. So if I ask you to put your Chromebook away, put your Chromebook away. All right, sounds great. Finally, let's talk about rules. I only have 3 because everything falls within these 3 rules. They are my 3 B's. Be respectful, be prepared, and be or better. Be respectful of yourself, of your peers, of your teacher, that's me, of the subject we talk about. Sometimes we talk about serious things in American history, and we're going to treat the subject with the respect that it deserves. Be respectful of your school. In general, be respectful, and this includes the language we use. Guys, I'm a social studies teacher. I believe in freedom of speech. But freedom of expression, though it is precious, it doesn't excuse hurtful, insulting, degrading, or language that's simply in poor taste. Anything that detracts from what we're trying to achieve in this classroom or makes anyone else feel like they are less than is something we're not going to tolerate in this classroom. But that's not going to be a problem, and I don't think it's going to be a problem. But we make sure we state that up front. We're going to treat one another in a respectful manner, and we're going to speak in a respectful manner. And I know you can do that. Be prepared when you come to class. Be prepared to listen, take notes, participate, and avoid being a distraction. Failure to participate may have an adverse effect on one's grade. Being prepared means you have what you need. It means your iPad, or excuse me, your Chromebook is charged. It means you have your materials. It means that you're ready to be here and participate, not just exist in this classroom. So you come to class ready to be a full participant class. And finally, be or better. Put forth effort. That's the expectation. It is my belief that if everyone puts forth the kind of effort that they are capable of putting forth, then no one should get below a B. I'm not going to guarantee that doesn't happen, but the course is designed in such a way that if you do your homework, if you participate in class, if you study for your tests, you're capable of getting a B or better in this class. You follow these 3 rules, things are going to be great. The accountability steps are listed on there. So what do I need for you to do? Well, as I mentioned before, respond to the questions in the discussion board, which you should see on Canvas. And then I need you to print something out for me. You can do it at home. You can do it at school. We have the ability to do that. This is kind of your first assignment, your history of me, which you can see right there on the screen. I want you to print this out. I want you to answer all these questions. Some are a bit more silly than others, but it will help me get to know you better. And of course, after you've printed that off, answered those questions, then I need you and a parent or guardian to sign this, and you're going to bring it back to class. All of that is going to make it easier for me to get to know you. I'm looking forward to this year. I'm looking forward to meeting all of you and getting to spend time with you. And we're going to have a great time in here. I love teaching here. I love teaching this subject, and I hope you will too. And I hope that we're going to have a great year. Thanks for watching.